I saw this announcement for the Superman series, and it came out right on the heels of the horrible character designs and we were seeing from the Kevin Smith's He-Man series. And I thought, this is so blatantly obvious to me. It's so blatantly obvious to me. This is a culture war. This is an insidious attack on our culture by the woke ideologues. It's almost like watching a movie about an alien invasion or something, or any kind of movie like that, where it's the suspense or whatever, and something's trying to take over, society or whatever. And you're following your main character who actually knows he's uncovered, he's found out why and whatnot. And it's pretty obvious. The proof is there. It's so obvious, but everybody the character tries to tell about it just says, "Oh, come on, you're such a conspiracy theorist. That's not really what's going on." The aliens, they're staying in the White House because they're guests to our planet, and we want to give them our best accommodations. They're not ruling the government. Come on, that's silly. They need to put their consciousnesses in our bodies because they're having trouble acclimating to our atmosphere. Stop being don't be such an extremist all the time and worry about it. Hey, you can't judge it until you've experienced it. Let them take over your body, and then you can tell me whether it's a bad thing or not. It's insane how very comparatively few people get it, that this is a culture where this is an attack on our culture. They have very specific agendas and strategies. They have a goal they want to accomplish. It's not just willy-nilly. We can look at their methods sometimes and talk about how it's really ridiculous. A lot of people point out that it's ironic, right? It seems like it's self-defeating. It doesn't make a lot of sense that they would say, we want to focus on women, minorities and stuff like that, yet then take women and make them look like men, or take minorities and not give them their own characters or their own stories, but drop them in the slot of white, heteronormative, whatever the evil words they have for the people they hate, their stories. It's not enough that Falcon is a Falcon. He has to be a Captain America. And people have pointed out, and very rightfully so, that, well, isn't that saying that women can't truly be heroic unless they look like men, or minorities can't truly carry a film unless they have the white man's title and the white man's this and that? And it's self-defeating. And people have pointed that out, and it's a good observation to make. It is, and it does seem really stupid. But they have an even more, as I said, an even more insidious agenda underneath that. In a way, they know exactly what they're doing with that. And it's really disturbing. When they make Tila, for example, and they say, well, if she's going to be the hero of the story, she has to have, as I said in my video, the same parts of her body have to be accentuated as the parts of the He-Man's body that are accentuated. Because, now we can look at that and say, well, they're saying that as a woman, she needs to look like a man to be a hero. That's not what they're thinking in their minds. They're thinking something quite evil and insidious in their minds. And this is absolutely true. Some people realize it, but they don't realize it all the time. Other people just don't know that this is the extent of their agenda because they haven't been in the academic world, or they haven't been in a lot of the circles. These people, these woke ideologues, truly, truly believe that there's no difference between a man and a woman. And we say that, and we've heard that said, but no, I just want to really drive that home. They truly believe that there's no difference between a man and a woman. Now, we can sit here and say, yeah, but they've got different organs. They've got, a man can grow a beard, a woman can't. They will legitimately look you in the face and say, well, that's just your social construction. Their goal is a world in which stuff like growing a beard or upper body strength, that is not that does not connote male or masculine. They believe women should be able to have stronger upper body strength than men and should be able to grow beards. They believe that, and I'm not being silly here. I'm being truthful because I've been in the academic world. I know this. I know how extreme it is, and that's where it births. That's where it incubates, and then it starts to spread into culture. And how do they spread it into the culture? By the stories, by the mythology. This is what they do. They truly want to live in a world where you would never ever with your language associate birthing a child with a woman. These things just, there's no difference between a man and woman to them. There's no difference at all. In fact, you can just choose your own sex, basically. They try to separate the idea of sex from gender, which is silly, and that's their first step. But then pretty much they're to the point where you just choose your own whatever you want to be. We got the drugs, we got the knives, we can hack and slash and sew up and do whatever. We've got the hormones. Be whatever you want to be. And then they start attacking the great evil that they call the heteronormative. So now we're non-binary and we're all different letters of the alphabet soup and all of this nonsense. This isn't reality. This isn't the way the world works. It's like somebody walking into a plastic bubble and they've painted the top of the bubble green and they're swearing up and down that the sky's green. And you idiot, how come you don't think the sky's green? Oh, well, you look up and the sky's blue? Well, that's your problem. Come in here in the bubble and then you'll agree with me that the sky's green. And they're not happy until they've expanded that bubble over everyone. This is what they're doing. And they're doing it with children's cartoons. Let that sink in. The indoctrination is so insidious. This is what public schools do. I'm sorry. Now, some private schools do it too, but this is absolutely, they've infiltrated, they started infiltrating higher academia, and they've got such a hold on it there. It's frightening. It truly is frightening. Such a hold on it there that their philosophies and attitudes have infiltrated people who aren't even necessarily woke. We used to laugh at the notion of having to be politically correct. That was kind of so stupid, some of the language. No, not anymore. No, you are sanctioned if you dare say the chairman of the department instead of the chair of the department. Don't you dare, sexualize or gender specific any of your language. This is nonsense. This isn't how language works. This isn't how the reality works around us. And we're going to talk about it specifically according to what it does to mythology here in just a second. But this is what they're doing. So when they make Tila, she needs to have strong arms and no feminization, whatever, to her body and stuff like that. That's because they believe that there's no such thing as the feminine for a woman and the masculine for a man. No such thing as that. And they're trying to get you to believe that too. They're trying to get you to swallow that. It's not enough for them to believe it. This is what also is just so evil about this all. It is not even remotely about, don't believe this. This is a lie straight from the pit of hell that they tell you. Hey, we just want equality. Hey, we just want freedom. We just want equality. Isn't that okay? I mean, when we want representation and what, hey, we just want, everybody to have a good seat at the table. That's all. No, it's not. No. They want to control you. They want to make sure you have the exact same opinions that they do. They can talk all they want about diversity. They don't believe it. Diversity to them is evil. Now, in terms of different colors of skin, sure. Paint that rainbow up. Bring it on in. Diversity of thought? Oh, you turn around and march right back out of here until you've learned how to think straight. You come in here with that wrong think. They cannot abide diversity of thought, diversity of opinion. Absolutely cannot abide it. You must think like us. And if you don't, they will try to continuously indoctrinate and insinuate their views into the culture, and they do it through mythology. So they're doing it with our mythology. It's not enough for them to create new stories. In fact, they can't. If they try to create new stories, very, very more often than not, they fall on their faces. They don't draw people in. The only way for them to get people in to be preached to is to take beloved fandoms and franchises and reboot them, remake them from the ground up. I did a number of videos about the She-Ra series. It is absolutely disgusting. It is filthy. It is disgusting to the point of nausea, actually, what they've done in that series to the story that was She-Ra, the characters that were She-Ra, the themes that were She-Ra. And I look around and nobody really gets it, it seems like. I mean, many of you here will get it, I'm sure. But I hear people talking about it and no one's really pulling out specifically what's going on here, the evils that are going on here, how they're trying to reshape the way people think She-Ra was a spinoff of He-Man, okay? But it was geared towards girls. Now, I liked watching She-Ra as a child a little bit. I still watch it today some, but it doesn't have the place in my heart that He-Man does, because She-Ra is specifically geared toward little girls. You know, that's okay. That's okay. Girls are going to gravitate towards different things, and boys are going to gravitate towards different things. They're not just the same. And if you look at She-Ra, look at the characters and whatnot, She-Ra herself is the show saying this is the counterpart to He-Man's heroism, but He-Man was the masculine form of that heroism, and She-Ra is the feminine form of that heroism. And they built that up perfectly from the bottom up with their character designs. She-Ra looks very strong, but she also looks very feminine. And people, when I start talking about character designs, again, this is part of that sort of, they need to silence you. They need to strawman you. They need to silence you. You'd be surprised at the comments. You'd see some of them in my chat section, but I hide them from people who are just beside themselves that I've come out with an opinion like this. And they will come out with all kinds of insults and this and that. And you think all women just, must look like this, that. No. Where do you get this from? Where is the straw man coming from? We're talking about mythology. You need to get rid of this stupid, ignorant assumption that the characters on the screen need to look like you and represent visually the world around you. This is fantasy. This is fantasy. I don't want Eternia looking like the countryside outside my back door. That's stupid. Nor do I want the people in Eternia to look like all the people in my real world around me. That's stupid. We don't need to go ahead and show all the different kind of body types that are out there and all the different types of ethnicities that are out there. We're on another planet. We're on another planet with humans, but they're a different version, humanoid or whatever. This doesn't work. It should not look like the world around us. This is another just evil lie, this evil assumption that the woke ideologues build every story they tell on. Must be representative of the world exactly around us. Now, there's something to be said for some measure of representation when it comes to just simple supply and demand, right? If enough of a demographic are interested in purchasing and supporting financially a story with the hero of this persuasion or this ethnicity or this whatever, then okay, supply and demand, make it happen. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is that we are being told you're a bad person and you're writing a bad story unless you have every flavor of the Baskin-Robbins human ice cream there, and every person in the show you're watching, or else you're supporting the wrong thing. You're bad. You're evil. This is fantasy, folks. There's nothing wrong. I said in my He-Man video that He-Man shouldn't be that diverse. It really shouldn't. It is based a lot on, as I say, that there's a lot of influence from the Norse, Celtic, Gaelic stories. There's some influence from Germanic tribes, certainly. There's influence in there, but this is not, you shouldn't see examples of people from all shades of Africa and Asia and so forth in here. It's mythology comes from certain places. Now, it can. Like I said, it's an alien planet. So the original cartoon, the original Filmation cartoon, you had samurai, you had Claptrap was his name and stuff like that. So you can have that. But the problem is when you force it, when you force that diversity in there, whether in ethnicities or races or something, or body types. So when you look character per character next to each other from the She-Ra series, what they did with just She-Ra, for example. The quote unquote She-Ra of the new series is not. There's nothing specifically about her that says girl. She could easily be a boy, especially nowadays, in which men are just becoming ever and ever more effeminate. That's scary. That's really scary. Everywhere I look around me, especially younger men, and there are a number of reasons this could be. I don't know why, but the culture is just telling you that they prefer you to be less masculine as a man. I just see all of these weak chin, weak hips, girly men walking around, and I'm far from like John Wayne, right? I'm not Mr. Manly Man. I don't play sports or lift heavy things or whatever, but there's a basic truth to masculine and feminine attributes and how much should be sought after, developed, and present. So you take She-Ra. She was the feminine version of heroism. her people around her. Look at Bo. Okay, Bo, at times maybe sort of a love interest, but maybe not. I mean, he was also a love interest with other people, sort of. You know, it was a children's cartoon. They're not going to push that stuff too much. But Bo was an example of masculine strength through the eyes of young girls, because She-Ra was geared to young girls. So if you're going to have this hero that works with She-Ra, who's a man, a big, strong man, well, you look at Bo, he's not as built or hulky as He-Man, because again, this is through the girl's lens here. He's got the red, you know, he's got the colors appropriate, and he's there for her. He supports her. He uses his strength to protect. This is the healthy view of masculinity through a young girl's eyes. You know, this is what dad should be, or that older brother or whatever. You know, you've got those aspects in there. You've got other characters who are a little bit more roguish. You know, you've got other characters, all of that like that. And you look at character for character comparison, like I said, to what the abomination that is the Netflix She-Ra series. It's horrible. They're trying to tell you what the message is that there's no such thing as masculine or feminine. There's no such thing as healthy and unhealthy. You can be a blob of pudding if you want. Let your body turn into that. It's okay. Body positivity. No, it's not okay. You're unhealthy and you're going to die soon unless you do something. Biological truth, folks. Deal with it. And of course, the story. I mean, there's no. I don't even need to talk about how the story is just the dregs of the barrel because of that. Because this is their agenda. They're pushing this instead of that.